Hi guys, welcome to another live video. I'm very excited to have you guys here tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about Genesis chapter 18 verse 16. We're going to be talking about what was the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah and the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. So if this is your first time watching one of these lives, we make, I make lives every week, every Friday or Saturday. And we make it about the Bible. So we read the Bible from Genesis chapter 1 all the way to Revelation. And right now we're going to be reading Genesis chapter 8 verse 16. And why verse 16 and not 1? This is because in the last live we read from chapter 18 verse 1 all the way to verse 15. So we read the Bible in consecutive order, right? So yeah, I invite you to watch the last lives, where we studied about Noah's Ark, Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, and all of that in consecutive order from chapter 1 of Genesis all the way to where we are right now, chapter 18. So I don't do the lives by chapter. I do them mostly by story. So in this case, chapter 18 talks about, if you guys watched the last live, it talks about the story of the three visitors that went to visit Abraham, and they're the ones who told Abraham and Sarah that they were going to have a son, which is Isaac, right? And after they visited Abraham, they went to go destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And we're going to see this scene, or we're going to be reading this scene where the angels are in Lot's house. Lot is Abraham's nephew. So we're going to be watching that, and we're going to be reading how Abraham is trying to convince God to not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because his nephew Lot is there. But God understands that he cares for his nephew. That's why he sends these angels to save his nephew, and then he destroys the city, right? But there's this scene where we're gonna be looking at what was the exact scene of Sodom and Gomorrah. Obviously, it was a lot of things that they were doing badly against God, but we're gonna be reading if homosexuality is a sin that was in Sodom and Gomorrah, because it is used a lot to reference homosexuality, right? So yeah, we're gonna be reading. So let's start. Let's see if this is true or not. So it says in verse 16, when the men got up to leave, they looked down towards Sodom, and Abraham walked along with them to see them on their way. Then the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham what I'm about to do? Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation, and all nations on earth will be blessed through him. So God was like, should I tell him that I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because of this, or should I not tell him? So basically he's like, he's going to be the father of many nations in the future. So I want those nations to know what not to do, right? Because God wanted those nations to know that they should not do the same things that Sodom and Gomorrah were doing. So it says, for I have chosen him so that he will direct his children and his household after him, to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just, so that the Lord will bring about for Abraham what he has promised him. Then the Lord said, the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great and their sin is grievous, that I will go down and see what they have done, that I will go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will know. The men turned away and went towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. So it was 3 men that visited Abraham, and we know that it was 2 angels, and one of them was the Lord. So probably it was Christ, right? During that time, we were in the times of Abraham. So the Messiah, when he came, it didn't happen yet. So, but it's pretty sure that it was Christ who was talking to Abraham, because it was 3 wise men. Well, not 3 wise men, 3 men that came to visit him. 2 were angels, and those are the 2 angels that went and destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And then one of them stayed with Abraham, and they were talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. So it says, then the Lord said, the men turned away and went towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Then Abraham approached him and said, will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? Abraham told God, will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare? And not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous as the wicked alike. Far be it from you. Will not judge of all the earth do right? The Lord said, if I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake. Then Abraham spoke, now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but dust and ashes, what if the number of the righteous is 5 less than 50, so 45? Will you destroy the whole city for lack of 5 people? And God says, if I find 45 there, I will not destroy it. Once again, he spoke to him. What if only 40 are found there? He said, for the sake of 40, I will not do it. Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 can be found in the city? Then God answered, I will not do it if I find 30 righteous people. Abraham said, now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, what if only 20 can be found there? He said, for the sake of 20, I will not destroy it. Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just once more. What if only 10 can be found? Then he answered, for the sake of 10, I will not destroy the city. When the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he left and Abraham returned home. So basically, we know that there wasn't even one righteous person because the city ended up being destroyed, right? Only Lot, Abraham's nephew, was saved, but God basically took him away from the city and then he destroyed the city. It says in chapter 19, 2 angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. When he saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. My lords, he said, please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night and then go on your way early in the morning. So let's really look at this that we're reading right now. Lot was sitting in the entrance of the city. Then he saw these 2 men coming in, these 2 visitors, which were the angels, but he didn't know that it was the angels, right? And he invited them to spend the night at his house. Why? Let's keep reading to find out why. Then the angels told him, no, we don't want to spend the night in your house. Basically, that's what he said. And that's what they said. They said, no, they answered, we will spend the night in the square. But he insisted so strongly that they did go with him and entered his house. So Lot insisted so strongly for them to stay at his house. And we're going to find out why. It says, he prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate. Before they had gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city, so before they were going to bed, it says that all men from every part of the city of Sodom, all men from, both young and old, so all men, surrounded the house. So these are males, right? Surrounded the house. They called to Lot, and they told him, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them. So basically, all the males from Sodom, they went straight to Lot's house so that the 2 visitors, the 2 angels, the 2 men would come out of the house, and so that these men of Sodom can have sex with them. So we're looking at that this is completely wrong, right? Because we're talking about 2 angels who were, their appearance were men, right? Male. And then all these males from both young and old, so from any age, they went to Lot's house so that they could have sex with the other two male visitors, right? So we're looking at them as like there's some homosexuality happening right here. It says Lot went outside to meet them and shut the door behind him, and he said, "No, my friends, don't do this wicked thing." So Lot told him, don't do this wicked thing, right? Because it was something wicked that these group of men will like basically abuse these two men, because obviously they were angels. They didn't want to have sex with males, right? And Lot went outside to meet them and shut the door behind him and said, "No, my friends, don't do this wicked thing. Look, I have two daughters who have never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do what you like with them. But don't do anything to these men, for they have come under my protection of my roof. Get out of our way," they replied. "This fellow came here as a foreigner, and now he wants to play the judge. We'll treat you worse than them." So basically, they were saying, we're going to treat you worse than we were going to treat them. So it's just, this whole situation is so bad. They kept bringing pressure on Lot and moved forward to break down the door. So they were going to break down the door. It says, but the men inside, the two angels, reached out and pulled Lot back into the house and shut the door. Then they struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness, so that they could not find the door. These two men said to Lot, "Do you have anyone else here, sons-in-law, sons or daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place. The outcry to the Lord against its people, it's so great that he has sent us to destroy the city." So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law who were pledged to marry his daughters. He said, "Hurry and get out of this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city." But his sons-in-law thought he was joking. So basically the angels told Lot, so we're gonna get you out of the city because we're gonna destroy it. Do you have anyone else, any family members that you want to take with you? Because obviously he was gonna take his wife and his two daughters. The angels asked Lot if he had any sons-in-laws, right? So he went to his two sons-in-law who were going to marry his daughters, but they thought he was joking. So basically they had to flee without them. So that's why Lot, his wife, and his two daughters were the only ones who ran away from the city. But we're gonna stop right here. We learned that obviously homosexuality is one of the major sins in Sodom and Gomorrah. We can see it here that these group of males from Sodom, they were trying to have sexual relationships with these two males that they didn't know they were angels, but they were clearly males. So we can tell by reading this how corrupt Sodom was. So yeah, that's what happens. And I'm gonna stop right here in verse 14, because from verse 15 all the way to the end of the chapter, we're gonna be reading what happened to Lot and his daughters, which is and his wife, which is a very interesting story that we must talk in another life, because it's like a completely different situation that we're going to be talking. So that's everything for this live video. I hope you guys enjoyed this live video. If you like it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and also don't forget to share it so more people can learn of the Word of God. And I'll see you in the next live video, which is next week. God bless you. Bye. I'm trying to wait this here.